Today, we are pushing the Forester to the limits as we make our way up another local trail. Today, we take on Quirk Ridge, a popular spot which is known for its deep cross-axle terrain and tight spots, a true testing ground for the Forester. But first, we had to get there, pushing through familiar territory. It put up a fight, but in the end, it was no match for the Forester. And, well, I wish I could say the same about Quirk Ridge, as it took all the Forester and I had to make it. Well, what was the issue? You're just gonna have to watch and find out. What is up, and welcome back to another adventure. A little bit of a change of plans. We said we're gonna be in central BC. Now we're back in Alberta, and we're gonna actually be doing another harder trail that I haven't done yet, and Austin's done in his past Forester, and he's gonna try in the new Forester. And then, of course, we got YYC Overland Lee and the Gladiator. So we're gonna be trying a trail. Actually, we've done a trail just up here a year ago where we really pushed the Forester. So we're gonna do it again on a different trail. It's called Quirk Ridge. Supposedly it gets really cross-axle, which is gonna be fun for me and interesting for Austin and his, it doesn't have traction control, but it's got the like VSS, what is it? Oh, it's got traction controls. It's got the grippy thing. So it'll be interesting to see how it does on cross-axle stuff because it has the FB, it has the automatic transmission. It will be hopefully a really good Subaru off-road. But with that being said, I think we're gonna go ahead. I'm gonna lead. I don't know where I'm going, but they're gonna tell me where I'm going, and we're gonna hit the trail, so let's go. And well, we're on the trail, or the access trail to the actual Quirk Ridge. What we'll be doing is actually going through some of the original trail we did last year where we tested the Forester, and then only go to a harder section of trail where we will hopefully see what the cars are capable of. Of course, the Gladiator is just going to make everything look easy, but for me and Austin, there might be some tricky stuff that we have to pick our line and kind of navigate around. So that's what we're at least hoping for, so we can have a little bit of fun and kind of push the cars to the limit. It does look like there is quite a bit of water on the trail from rain the last couple of days, so that might also make it a little bit interesting. I know, so a little bit of background on Austin's car, if you didn't listen to the podcast, which you should. It is SH Forester, so that body style. It has the FB with the automatic transmission, killer combo, and it's got a 1-inch ADF lift with some, not method wheels, Mayhem wheels, and I believe Westlake tires. He's testing out a budget tire that he loved on his other Forester, so he's gonna put them on these and see how they do. But as I said, it is a capable car. Doesn't have as much travel, it's only got a spacer lift, so it's gonna be a good comparison between a spacer lift and like a more built up car like mine to kind of see how each one is gonna perform in these kind of conditions. So yeah, as I said, we'll continue on this access road for a bit until we actually get to the fun part of the trail. As we moved through the familiar trail, we moved deeper and deeper into the forest. And the trail got rougher and rougher, going from the relatively smooth trail to a few deeper tracks to the rocky trail that we were so familiar with. It wasn't long before we made it to our first obstacle, the rocky hill that I first had to use my winch on. Although, this time, with a few line changes, we made it up with relatively zero issues. But, for Austin, it was another story. As he made his way up, the limited travel had wheel after wheel lifting, putting more and more work on the traction control, which wasn't doing exactly what we expected. And line change after line change and a couple of traction boards later, we decided it was better to put the winch to use and pull him over the massive rock. The same rock I had to winch over on my first time out. And after that, it was rocky hill climb after rocky hill climb. And with each one, line choice mattered as we navigated our way up the hill, now without the need of the winch. But yet, I still needed to rearrange my lines every once in a while to make it up. And with one final push, we made it to the top of the hill, one step closer to today's challenge. And we made it to the top of, well, the trail that we did last time. It's a little bit harder, as you guys could probably tell. I know that I definitely can drive the car a little bit better, but even like that one spot that was easy, I did take a dumb line. But even then, it was not that hard last time we did it. So it was interesting to see how capable this Forester is when I know what I'm doing. But Austin, how is your Forester doing? Because we've seen it kind of struggle a little bit in some places.
Yes.
Traction control issues?
Yes.
Yes. So we have some ideas of what we can do with that. But again, you only have a inch lift and like not super chunky tires, and you're at 20 PSI too.
Yeah.
So it's still doing pretty good. There's some spots, I think, Austin, what's your strategy now?
You have to trick the computer in.
So you have to trick the computer, so he like gets do you get the traction control to like not activate, and then you just gas?
You punch the gas pedal harder.
Yeah, so they use some strategy, because you did that last section, no problem, like no problem at all. And actually, I struggled, so it's interesting to see kind of like the way you have to drive differently in these kind of cars. It's just, it makes it a little more interesting, and you've been driving something that's been super capable, so.
Yes, different.
It's very different, but yeah, we just had some lunch up at this amazing view. You guys seen it. If you want to see more of this trail, make sure you go check out the actual video where we took Ernesto's Outback on it, or we also did this back when we were first off-roading, and we actually used a winch. I used a winch this time, but to rescue Austin. But if you want to go see more of that, go check out those two videos. And like I said, we're essentially now on the access road to get to the new trail that we want to hit. So it was a little more challenging and probably took us a little longer than we wanted to get to where we're going to go. But this new trail should be fun and kind of challenging. As I said, more cross-axle, less of this like steep, rocky hill climb. But if you're looking for more of that, definitely, as I said, go check out those other videos. This access road here is actually kind of interesting because it's very smooth, like logging road, and then all of a sudden it's got cross stitches. So when I first hit this trail, you get going pretty good, and then you have to like slam the brakes for cross stitches. So we're not gonna go that fast this time because those cross stitches are pretty good. So yeah, we'll continue along this access road for a little bit and then kind of snake our way into the valley. We're kind of heading more into the valley till we get to the Quirk Ridge, and then from there, then the fun starts and we can really see how these cars handle the cross-axle-y areas different. So we'll see you there. So we continued down the access trail, enjoying the surrounding rocky mountains at a fairly good pace, trying to dodge all the cross stitches and holes. Although it wasn't for long as we turned off the trail and on to today's challenge, Quirk Ridge. And after a short climb out of the valley, the trail was already throwing some pretty big obstacles at us as we found ourselves face to face with a ditch that could easily swallow the Forester. Here, if you had them, it would be a good place to turn on those lockers. But we did not. With our line choices playing a part of it, we drove in, starting to make our way through. And every time a wheel lifted, the Forester would let us know as we spun, allowing us the opportunity to modify our line choices and keep on moving. And just like that, we made it through. Yet, we still had a lot more to go. So, we made our way around the corner and up through the rocky hillside. And well, if you couldn't tell, we are on the trail, and this thing is pretty interesting, I gotta say. This trail, as I said, super cross-axle, and honestly a challenge for these Subarus. As you saw, Austin had a very different line to what I did, but we both made it up both of these more difficult sections. That thing, when it's not loose, no issues. The traction control will like shift the power. It's as soon as it gets loose and it has a bump over something, that's where your issues start to show up. So it's interesting to see how it will go about tackling stuff and how I go about tackling stuff. I can kind of like brute force it with more travel and spinning the wheels a little bit, and it actually does it pretty well. I got three-wheeled pretty good, or two-wheeled, and as long as I could like kind of bump it into where I got three wheels, we're good to go. And with that extra travel from that flat-out suspension, it actually wasn't that bad. So each car is doing it their own different way, but they're each doing it surprisingly well. This is definitely a hard trail. There's definitely lots of people that like have some really cool photos of like getting super cross-axle and stuff, but the Subarus are doing it, which is pretty cool to see and pretty cool to say as someone that's driving them. So we're about, I think, halfway. There's 3 switchbacks, I believe Austin was mentioning, so 3 or 4. So we've done 1, this is our second one. So yeah, we're just like into it. Supposedly it gets really spicy at the end again. So yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying it as much as I am. This is a lot of fun. And back when I first started, this trail would have been too much for me. This would have been super stressful. But now that I know what the car is capable of and I'm kind of playing around a little bit more, it is a lot of fun. These Subarus are so much fun. So yeah, I'm just gonna continue moving on. I don't got much else to say besides we're doing it. So see you guys a little bit.
Pushing forwards, we continue to move up and across the mountain. Here, the trail started to show clues of the alpine, with thinning vegetation and larger rocks on the trail. And while the rocks weren't going to give us any issues till the final push to the summit, the thinning trees gave us some absolutely amazing views of the Canadian Rockies. Yet, we couldn't focus on that for long as we made the final push to the summit. Barely navigating ourselves through the rocks and trees on the trail. And now, within throwing distance of the summit, we gave one final push through the trees and onto the top of the mountain.
And well, we made it. Check that out. We are on top of this mountain, you can say that. Look at this amazing view from up here. This is probably the best view in this area that I've seen. And also probably, I know people say it's a hard trail, and maybe, yeah, it's probably a harder trail around here, but we made it. Both Foresters made it, no issues. I mean, it was hard, but it was honestly, especially for me, and being able to actually kind of push the Forester again, it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. Really awesome to see what this Forester is capable of now with the coilovers, the wheels, the tires, and all that stuff. But as you can tell, it is extremely windy up here because, well, we're on top of a mountain in Alberta. It's always windy up here. So what we're gonna do is we're just enjoying the view for a little bit, and then we are going to head back down, and then we're gonna head back down the other ridge. So we will probably shorten that part of the trip because you guys have already seen us go back that way a couple times. So we'll make it down, enjoy this awesome view because this is what we get to see on the way down. And then we have those couple switchbacks. I have a couple of those cross-axle things I'll probably get some more video of because it's always cool to see how the Foresters kind of take that on. And then we'll probably speed it up and head back to the trailhead. So yeah, let's go ahead and hit the trail.
Now, heading back down, we could let gravity do the work as we roll through the rocky section and squeeze through the tight ones. Before coming around the switchback and back onto the most mild part of the trail, where we were able to take a little bit of time to enjoy the view before jumping back into the thick of it. And well, it was a harder part of the trail. I wasn't gonna let it stop me from having a little bit of fun as I crossed over, teetering the car just on 2 wheels before letting them come back down as we moved forwards. And then finally, moving through the deep ditch as we took a little bit of time to have some more fun on 3 wheels before jumping back on the access road and toward the trailhead.
And well, we're back on the access road after having a little bit of fun on those cross stitches. When you have gravity, you can do some pretty dumb stuff and get away with it because gravity's gonna help you get all the way down. So that's exactly what I did, is I kind of just used gravity to get out of some tricky situations that there's no way I would have made it up. Like, I had a good 3 feet under the rear end of my car on that last little cross stitch there, and it was just like way up there, and you know, like, you need lockers for that if you're gonna do that the other way. So yeah, that's kind of what was happening there, but still a lot of fun. You can kind of like test kind of how the car reacts to certain stuff. And well, this car, it will flex to a certain point. Let's just say that. As you guys see, it kind of will like, it will get as much travel as I can, and then eventually it's like, nah, not happening. Good luck, everyone. So yeah. That's kind of a good way to test this on that stuff, especially downhill, right? You can't get stuck. Well, you can. You can still definitely get stuck if you take a really, really bad line, but I wasn't gonna do that. But anyways, as we said, we're on the final kind of access road again. There's 2 ways out of here. There's one that goes through a giant mud puddle. Go watch that video. It's on one of these sides. We're not gonna do that, because honestly, that one's got huge tracks in it, and you need, like, my car just scraped all the way. Austin's car would not have a good time, so we're not going to do that. We're going to go back the way we came, so essentially down all the rocks. Going down all that rocky stuff isn't hard. Again, you have gravity on your side, you kind of just pick your line, make sure you're not going to do anything real dumb, and just let gravity do its work. I actually, in here, because I go slower than my first gears, I'll actually put it in neutral and just use the brakes, because at that point we're just playing with gravity. At that point, you don't need first gear because it's not going to slow you down. First gear in this, as you guys know, is not a very low gear. So yeah, access road, we'll keep on moving, and then once we get to our trail, we're just going to go up that little kind of fast little swoopy section, and then back down the rocks and back to the trailhead. So yeah, I'll probably see you guys at the trailhead.
So we continued to move through the trail system and slowly crawled our way back down the rocky sections. One at a time and without any issues, only scraping my skid plate once. Before getting us back on the much smoother sections of trail that eventually moved us out of the forest and towards the trailhead.
And well, we made it back to the trailhead in one piece. That's always a good thing. But it was pretty easy, as I mentioned, we were coming down the trail, that you got gravity on your side, you can do it, you just got to be careful of not hitting skid plates like I did. Did you hit any skid plates? No, you hit your trailer hitch though. Yeah, somehow I hit a skid plate and Austin didn't. But yeah, so we're back at the trail, just finished airing up. And yeah, that trail was a ton of fun. I'm really glad we were able to do Quirk Ridge. I don't know what I've been saying this whole video, so maybe I've been saying it differently. But so glad we were able to do it in the Forester. Now we can say that we've done it, and it got some pretty cool photos of it, kind of all cross-axled. How did your Forester do? What did you compare to what you think it would have done?
It got better as I figured it out.
It's been a while since you drove a Forester.
Yes.
Yeah.
The traction control helps. You just need to know to use it.
Yeah, and I guess you've been used to driving stuff with solid axles, so
yes.
it's a learning curve, right?
Yeah.
But did you enjoy it?
Yeah.
Are you glad you're back in the Subaru now?
It's fun.
I was coming back on this access road here and let Austin lead, and he was way past me. He took that rally heritage to mine. But yeah, that's going to be the end of today's video. I don't know what next video is going to be. I don't have it planned yet, but I know you guys are going to enjoy it. So if you guys enjoyed the video as much as I did, make sure you're following along for more adventures like this, and that's going to be it. So as always, peace out and stay humble.